Bum, bum, bum. And we are live. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to you.
Good evening. Good morning. Good night.
Well, this is the Lazy Parent Podcast. And as always, I'm still Masa.
I'm still June.
I think this is going to be one of those real laid back, lazy type of podcasts. seeing as
we have to stay on theme with our theme name.
And it's, 12:36 now?
12:36, and I just woke up from a long nap. Still on Florida time. For those of you who haven't been listening in to the last episode, I've been on Florida time for the last week, so I'm jet lagging. Around now is usually the time that I wake up and start working at around 1:30.
Oh, so you'd wake up now?
Yeah.
Around 12:30 and then start at 1:30?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's pretty crazy. So this is around the time where I'd start, getting my coffee and puttering around, getting ready for the day.
And you did this for what, a week?
Did this for 6 days? Yeah.
All right. Wow. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
It's good to have you home.
I'm very glad to be home.
It's just it was okay. It was great. But, but at some point, if this goes on too much longer like this, it's not the best. We do our best when you're away, but it's not the same for sure. It can't be the same. I try my best, but I think Junior really misses out on the connection. He becomes extra snuggly cuddly with me, and he's extra soft and cuddly with me because I'm his only point of connection.
That makes sense. All right, so why are we here today?
We're here because it's what we do. But yeah. I was thinking about what we could talk about today, or what I wanted to talk about today.
Okay.
And to be honest, it was kind of I wasn't quite sure. I was thinking about it. It's it is holiday season. Let me put this mic a little bit down, because can't see a face.
Can you see my face now?
I can see your face now. No, I thought, what if we talked about traditions and Christmas?
Traditions and Christmas.
Yeah, okay. Christmas and traditions. the very few traditions that I and you might have had. Actually, there's probably a whole lot of traditions. It's just not classical traditions. They're weird things that were traditions. I don't know about you though, because you moved around a lot more between kind of families than I did.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I think that was my tradition, just my own personal tradition, the moving. But so that's something that I haven't really had until we had Junior, and then we started making traditions. That was kind of my first experience with that.
But what about when you were a kid?
When I was a kid?
Yeah. There were no traditions, nothing that you did every year, or
I don't think so.
No? Or at least every year for a certain time, or nothing? Zero tradition? Zero culture?
Nothing's coming to mind at the moment. I think the culture was the no culture.
But wait, what?
No, there must have been something. I guess maybe
something.
when we were kids, every year.
What did you celebrate? What holidays did you celebrate?
Christmas? Yeah, I guess we celebrated Christmas.
Christmas?
Yeah.
That's it? You guys didn't do communion or
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Those are all traditions,
sure.
right?
But Yeah, I guess when we did communion, that was. I guess that can be called a tradition. Sure. Well, why don't you start talking about something and maybe it'll jog my memory. I'm sorry, I just woke up.
No, I was thinking about it because I mean we did have a lot of traditions, I guess, in our own strange way.
Hmm.
There are like all these little things I think that not very many big huge no like oh on Christmas we have a turkey or we
Mm.
do this for Thanksgiving or whatever. It was really simple things. Um, we visited our grandparents every year at New Year's, or
Oh,
almost every year.
okay, yeah, we did that.
See? Traditions!
Maybe we've been doing traditions. I just never registered them as traditions. Yeah, every New Year's we'd go visit our grandparents.
Right?
Hmm.
Okay. And my mom and dad, I think a lot of people that grew up in the same situations as us had it similar, the same way. But there was like a dedicated day every week that was Family Day.
Mm.
That's a tradition.
Is that?
I mean, if you think about our Saturdays and Sundays, it's not like it's a family day. It's just a day without school. It's a weekend.
Well, that's just for us.
Yeah.
But to Junior, that might be Family Day.
Yeah, I guess kind of because he's with us all day, I guess. But I don't think in his mind there's any difference than any other day except that there's no school.
Mm.
For us, it was different. That was the day you spent with your family.
I guess, yeah,
Even though you
okay.
lived with your family, it was like mom and dad are busy doing their things, but on family day they'll show up for you, kind of.
Kind of. Kind of. Well,
What?
they'll drive you someplace, like a
Yeah.
park. Yeah, okay. I guess every family day we would go to this beach park, Inagakaigan Beach, and run around in the fields, make flower crowns out of dandelions and clovers. Um, I remember this one time we went there that I thought my dad was so cool because he took this old can and he cut it open and he put like dried grass inside and then he like lit a fire and he had like his own little cooking can thing. And I was
Lantern.
just like, no, it wasn't a lantern. I think he was actually cooking something in there. And I was just like, wow, that's so radical. uh,
I mean, I in a way, I'm thankful we had like I had that like, there was a day of the week that was like about you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was like it was about the kids.
Oh, the
One
kids,
day
yeah.
a week was about the kids, and later when I think about it, I'm like, well, that isn't like huge. It's not a huge thing, but at least you knew you had a certainty about that day.
Mm-hmm.
That day was gonna be, you could sleep in if you wanted to. You got to
Mm,
kind of do what you wanted to do.
yeah.
Kind of. And within reason. There's just a whole lot of bickering between your brothers and sisters as to what you're going to do with that day. I want to go here. No, I want to go there. All of that
Mm.
shit.
So
And
that stuff wasn't like decided already where you were gonna go. It's you guys got to decide
I think the
yourselves.
night before my mom would be like, there's this thing. this, there's this park. It has, and she'd explain like different things, and we'd be like, boring, 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 and then be like, let's go to let's go to this shopping mall, and like, no, let's go here, and it just kind of be this. It'd be kind of a shit show. Like I didn't really want to go anywhere, so I'd just be like, no, I just want to stay home, and then my sisters would get mad at me because they'd be like, well, if you don't come, then they won't go, or like if we don't decide together, then
So you
and I
guys
wanted to sleep in, and they wanted to like go early, and like
mm.
there's all those kind of like.
Wait, so you guys always had to spend family day together. It's like leave no man behind.
No, depending on the time, there were times where like we were not to be trusted alone. So we had to stick together as a group because,
I see.
you know, like if you leave my sister alone in the house while we go away, you don't know what kind of thing she's going to get up to. And then the same with me, or, you know, like you can't leave teenagers alone in the house. Was the thinking, because we had proven ourselves unworthy of such trust.
Well, it wasn't unwarranted.
So there was always that tension in the house. I think with every single one of my like the age, whenever the age was right for whatever one of my siblings, including myself, it was like they are, you know, there's
been
this,
activated.
there's this not benign. There's a threat. There's always the threat of something happening, you know, something that we're not quite in control of happening.
Right.
When you leave a teenager alone for too long, or you know, they're unsupervised for too long of a time, you know, they may go online.
Oh, shoot.
You know, they may use the internet or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we kind of, for the most part, stuck together, and we went. And so I think that's why when, at some point, when they found that we all liked ice skating, they were just like, sign them up, make them go ice skating every week. You know, they agree. I think that's what it was. It's like relief, sweet relief. They all like this one thing, and they'll get in a car and go. And it was late in the day, so we'd leave at like 4 or something.
Oh, okay.
And then something like that, like 3
good.
or 4.
So then at least you guys get to get your sleep.
Yeah,
in.
we slept in, and if, you know, one of the sisters or like some of them wanted to go somewhere earlier in the day, they could, and I would just be like, fuck off, I'm sleeping. And then I'd wake up to go ice skating or whatever.
I see. Well, that's good. That is a tradition.
Yeah, it was a tradition for sure. And then there were the day before Family Day was always Parent Day. Did you have Parent Day?
I think so. Yeah, we must have.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think we should have Parent Day. I think we should bring back Parent Day.
Yeah, but see, that depends on a much larger network of people upon which we can rely on to watch our child for free.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Those were the perks. Those were the perks
Where
of the cult.
where are like the poor houses and the you know like how they send them to the poorhouse. Let them sort coal or something.
What are you asking? We want to send Genia to the factories and for like one day
It
a
would
week.
give him perspective. It'd give him perspective on life. If every once a week, not the whole day, he went to the poorhouse and he saw, yeah, like my sisters always used to tease me, and they'd be like, that you've been a bad boy and we're gonna send you away to the blind school. It was always the blind school. And they'd be like, they'd go outside the house and knock on the door, and they'd be like, oh, here they are, you know, here they are to take you away to the blind school. And I'd be like, no, I don't want to go to the blind school.
This is also a tradition.
Yeah, maybe that was also a tradition in my family. We just like, it was like the pecking order. Somebody was bound to be bullied.
They all had their season. You all had your seasons.
Everyone had their season. I'm sure of it. The blind school.
Well, yeah, I guess it really depends on like what years. So if I think of like traditions, it's kind of hard for me to come up with something because I was always moving around. But think about holidays. When I was much younger, the tradition, I suppose, would be that we would go and put on these big, Christmas shows at these huge hotel Christmas parties, and it was right around the time where the bubble, Japan's economic bubble was all big, and everybody was like making money hand over fist, and so they had these huge budgets to get us these dance troupes, and we would sing and sing. Oh, that sounds different and weird. And put on these dances and shows, and they were quite elaborate, just like big dance troupes of anywhere from 10 to 14 to 16 kids from, I guess, how old was I at the time?
Wearing curtains.
As
skirts.
Drapes, yes, raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. And we'd sing these Christmas songs and dance to them and do these Christmas medleys, and Yeah, so that went on for
Yeah, that was pretty much that. I guess that in a strange way, that was definitely
that was my
a tradition.
childhood
It was like
tradition, I
every
suppose.
Christmas starting from, October maybe. I'm not sure. I'm sure somebody who's older would be more remember more of like when we would start to rehearse for Christmas. But you'd have a base of what you knew from the other Christmases, and then you would kind of like, what new song are we adding, or what are we changing? But basic, or like, oh yeah, so and so moved, so
So
we
you
had
need
a
someone to
5-person crew and now we're 4, so we're gonna have to work out the new places to step to.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah. That's
hey,
true.
greetings to everyone watching in real time, by the way.
Greetings, everybody.
Lots of love to all of you guys. um but yeah, I hated that. I hated dancing so much. It was
Do you think that motivated you to pick up a guitar
for
so you
sure.
didn't have to dance?
For sure. I mean, I don't think I hated it so much at the beginning. I think I actually enjoyed it when I was little. But I think as I started to reach like puberty, and you get that like adolescent self-conscious sort of thing going on, then it was just like, I don't want to dance. I don't want to do this dance anymore. I don't want to dance monkey anymore. I really relate to that song. So yeah, that's when I started getting more serious about playing music. So I was like, I've gotta find a way to get out of this dance troupe thing, because like they I don't think they actually said you have to dance, but it was like, you can choose whether you're gonna dance this year or not, but if you don't, you're an asshole.
Whoa.
Kind of thing. So you're like, oh, okay, I'll do my best. So it just was this weird thing.
Huh. I remember. So wait, that was just like in your home with your family, right? Oh no,
Yeah,
but
I
there were
mean,
other people as
before
well.
then, when I was like up until 8, we moved around from house to house, and I was in some of the dance troupes along the way, like in some of those big combo sort of situations. But then we moved, yeah, to our smaller like family unit plus a few strange people, always different strange coming in, coming out. And yeah, when it was just our family, then yeah, we danced sometimes just our family, but usually there were a few others.
Ah, interesting. So it was just your sister saying if you don't dance, you're an asshole.
Basically, sorry. I hold no ill will to you.
Oh,
Oh,
person.
oh, sister, who did your best to teach me the dance moves. I know you were just doing what you had
It's
to
very
do.
pointed to a sister. It's not like
Yeah.
sisters.
No, actually, at a certain time, it wasn't the sister anymore. It was a different sister.
Oh, she passed on the
Yeah.
baton.
Yeah, but I didn't ever feel like it was mean spirited. It was just that like, you're on a different level. You're a good dancer, and I don't want to dance, but I have to dance, and I
Yeah.
hate this. I felt that way about a lot of things that I'm slowly one by one getting over, like art, like drawing things. Before I didn't like to draw anything because I just had this fear of drawing,
Yeah.
because there were people who were better at it than me, and I didn't feel like I was in a very forgiving environment sometimes, where it's like okay to just draw something ugly, because a lot of times you're drawing something ugly while next to somebody who's drawing the same thing nicely, and then you're just like, fuck this shit. And they're your sister or whatever, right? And the same with spelling and writing. Like, I thought forever I didn't like to write, because I was put in these classes, these big combo home classes, where I don't think they taught us how to spell. I think they just like copy test proved.
Copy test proof.
Do you remember copy test proof?
I didn't until just now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, remember that? They like the columns, and then they
Yeah.
like, you copy the word, and then you try
Yeah.
it, but you can still look, and then
And
then
you
it gets all
prove that you
fucked up
can-
at the end.
Well, I just, like for me,
Just you see the gradual disintegration of the spelling. You're like farm, form, farm. Oh shit.
I think those ones were easier for me. That one just came more naturally.
Yeah, I didn't learn how to spell until I started chatting with people.
That makes sense.
Because they didn't teach you any like tools. I got such a weird like spelling start. Like I remember sitting as a 6-year-old in a classroom full of kids older than me, looking at this huge whiteboard in this huge class, and I was copying word for word an essay written on the board about Fidel Castro. I remember this really clearly. But when I think back, I was 6. And I didn't understand the context of what I was copying down. And I was literally like one letter. A. V. You know. E.
Oh
E.
my god.
Space. Okay, space. Okay. And then start the next word. And like. Yeah. Oh, someone says online that if you haven't already, you should tell viewers how many siblings you have siblings you each have that could have grabbed the baton to teach you.
How many?
Interesting.
Well, if we're talking, just plain numbers, I have my mom has 14 kids, and then I have a stepmom who has 7 kids, and then I have another half sister. So there were plenty of siblings to teach. However, we were often in separate classes, so they were being taught, or they were being taken care of other kids, classes. So,
I mean, the last thing I want to do is make any of my, especially older sisters, and I have 5 sisters and 1 brother, and as far that's my kind of like, how do you say, nuclear family.
Oh, you did it!
Not nuclear.
You did it, you guys.
My family
How
has
many
a tradition.
Years? How
we have a
many
tradition
years?
of
Yeah,
saying
that's true.
nuclear.
I can't even say
Nuclear.
nuclear. How do you say it?
No, but I really want to be careful not to say anything well, I can't control how other people feel, but I don't want my sisters to ever feel bad or guilty about about things, because I don't think they had a free hand to have a baton passed to. Like, that's the thing, is that it was this weird system of more kids were born, and the older kids took care of the younger kids, but not in a way like, oh, you have extra time, you should teach him how to read, that'd be nice. It would be more like, no, you're in charge from this time to this time of taking care of all of these kids, and you're cooking, and you're doing this. And so it wasn't this like this time where people had a bunch of like free time and open space to love and care and nurture each other. It was more like, I have to be with the kids, and that's not their fault.
No.
And a lot of them, I feel like a lot of times childcare was like the worst thing you could get put on. Maybe I'm wrong. Some people might come, and if you don't feel that way, tell me. I'd love to hear a story of somebody who worked in childcare when I was growing up. And I loved it. It was my passion, and I'm sure there are those people, but I think for the most part it was something you had to get through. And so they weren't really super psyched to be like, I'm going to teach you all guys, this is how to read, and like, we're going to do phonics, and I've researched this, and this is the best. There was none of that. It was just like, I'm supposed to teach you. I'm going to put an essay on the board about Fidel Castro that I plagiarized from somewhere, and you're going to copy it. Good luck. Copy, test, prove. I'll give you 100 words.
Wow.
I remember crying so hard with that kind of stuff. I did not like it at all. I remember my older sister, she gave me this writing assignment where she was like, I don't know why I'm talking about this, but she gave me this writing assignment where it was like, you need to fit all of these words into a story that you're going to write yourself.
Wow.
Right? And
that's a really interesting exercise.
And I was at still at Dreamfield, so I must have been 7 or 6. Which is not very, like, it's not something that a 7 or 6-year-old would be really ready to do anyways, I don't think, for most kids, unless that's their thing, unless they're really into writing.
Right, yeah.
But we were all given this assignment, and I was so freaked out about it. I was like, I cannot do this. I cannot write. I don't even know what these words mean. So I made a story about a man who makes a list of words that he likes. And then I just proceeded to write the entire list of words.
That's so clever.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I got in such big trouble, and I was told that I was being lazy, and I had to write the another story. And I just couldn't take it.
Terrible.
I was like, give me any punishment you want. Just don't make me write the story.
Wow. They didn't accept that? I would have been impressed. I would be like, wow, that's actually pretty clever. Full marks.
I was trying to find a way to sneak by it. Just like...
Yeah, but they weren't having it.
No. Yeah, but that dancing was one of those things where it just turned into a grind. But it kind of had this feel to it, this kind of exciting feel at the same time. You know, this cold winter air and getting into the car early in the morning to go you don't know where, to perform for you don't know who. And it's like, you get told, like, we're going to a hospital or we're going to an old folks home. And you're like, oh, okay, we're going to an old folks home. You're all in your funny red sweaters or whatever costume design, that year's costume design. Your little white sweater with the red ribbons or whatever, right?
Yep.
And the all black pants. Yeah, we got the black pants. Do we have all black shoes? No, but close or whatever, right?
Yes. Oh my God.
And then you get into the van and you go and you're like, wow, and you get there and sometimes it's like, oh, I've seen this old folks home before, or this style of old folks home before. It's good. But sometimes you'd end up in these situations that were just weird, like old folks homes that were like prisons. Did you ever go to any of those where all the doors lock and they like have bars and
wow,
people are angry and grumpy and it just feels more like a prison than an old folks home?
I don't think so. I blocked it.
There's a scary old folks home, and then there's a sweet, happy, kind of cheerful. I don't know what they're actually called. Senior. No,
housing?
what are they called? What are they called? Is there another name for them besides the old folks home? There must be. Must be a final resting. No. Senior something facility. No, I don't know. Anyhow,
I got nothing. Sorry.
What about Christmas itself for you guys, for your family? Did you guys do anything, or was it kind of like the gift of giving is our Christmas?
Well, I mean, there for years and years there were always those Christmas shows too. It's really funny. I just had this memory about when I first got into the dance troupe. I can't remember how old I was, but it must have been pretty young, like five-ish.
Senior living center, nursing home. Yes, you guys. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, all of you that are live with us. Sorry, I started to interrupt you.
No. It's great. What was I saying? Yeah, no, I remember because the dance troupe was like this big thing that everybody always wanted to aspire to. I think it was because it was a way to get out of the house and the classes and your terrible teacher.
Out of childcare. Right?
Well, I wasn't in childcare. I was much younger at the time. I was 5, 6-ish, so I wasn't in childcare.
But I mean for the older.
Maybe for the older people, but I wasn't. Maybe. Yeah, I guess so. Or get out of cooking, or do the laundry, being in charge of the laundry for like a home of 50 or some people, But I remember when me and one of my other sisters, we got chosen to be in the dance troupe, and that was only because, my dad was the one who was making everything happen, or at least I think so. And one of the older teens came to call us from the classroom, and they were like, okay, June, and you come here. And then there was this other girl who was in the class, and she really thought that she was going to get chosen.
You know who you are.
You know who you are.
I don't know who she is.
She really thought she was going to get chosen. And so me and my sister, we started walking out towards the door, and she started walking. And then the teen was like, oh, no, I'm sorry. you're not a part of the dance troupe. You haven't been chosen." And she was so
Oh
brokenhearted. She
no.
started crying, and that was like the first time I was like, "Oh, what? This is something that people want to
Oh, that's
do."
awful.
Yeah, but I can understand that because we would go to these really, luxury hotels and we would perform at these huge stages, and then afterwards you get to,
Maybe eat
eat there
something.
for
Yeah.
sure. And then, you always get presents
Yeah.
that get taken away from you immediately after you leave,
Mm.
That
But at least
was,
you got to get them.
yeah, at least we got to get them in for show. That was, I guess, part of the show too.
Yeah.
um,
Do you ever pocket money that was tipped to you?
Not at that age.
No,
No,
later.
no.
Later.
And also, I don't think anyone let me be alone long enough to get a tip that wasn't
Well, you never had people give
seen.
you money in the ohashis?
Yeah, but the people would see that,
Uh,
or so there
yeah, but they
wasn't.
don't see how much.
I wasn't that clever. I mean, at that point, I didn't even understand money. I don't think.
Yeah,
I
no,
was too
I
young.
didn't when I was that young. It was later
Yeah,
on, yeah.
and so yeah, never.
So like there's this thing where like June started playing ukulele and singing a lot recently, and it kind of came. You kind of started doing it all of a sudden, and I was kind of surprised by it. I was like, oh, this is really nice. That I haven't really ever heard you kind of explore anything musical ever, really.
Oh yeah, that was
Um,
before your time.
for my time.
Before our time, I don't know. No, because when I was younger, I did play a guitar like barely,
Mm-hmm.
and I played piano too, like barely. But yeah,
And then what
and then
you turned away from it.
I turned my back on
You turned
music,
your back on it.
and yeah, it was
Yeah.
just I closed my heart to music, and it was forever winter, never Christmas.
So what? No, sorry. I was gonna ask. I think I did ask you. What about your own family's Christmas?
Yeah, so like that was after all of those years. I
Yeah.
guess we would have like a Christmas dinner tradition.
Yeah. Did you have an opening presents under the tree?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have like a
Did
few
you have a
memories of
present
those.
system?
No, I don't think so.
So you just bought whoever you wanted to
Yeah,
buy a gift
yeah,
for,
yeah,
and people. So like some people would get more gifts than others.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Man,
Why?
that's no. I'm just wondering what
Yeah,
the system is.
I
Like,
think so. Or I don't think there was a system.
there
Yeah,
wasn't a
there was
system.
just
There
a
wasn't like a
tree
secret
and
Santa
no,
or
there was no secret Santa. No, I mean at least not for me or the other kids. I don't think so. We just got whatever we wanted for whoever. And there's like so many siblings, so there's some people oh, this is exactly what I'm going to get for them, and so you get that, and that's fine. But then after you've bought like 20 presents, you're kind of just like, oh,
Yeah,
and then
I
the
actually
quality
got
goes
really
down.
turned off about presents, like giving and getting presents from our family's Christmas present time. It just became this chaotic, just too much, man. It was like just like all these people all sitting in the living room, just like now it's so and so's turn. You
Wow.
know, what did so and so get? So and so. It was too much.
It's very controlled.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think we kind of evolved over time to where it was like, okay, just open one present
With everybody.
with everyone and then everyone can kind of
I see.
I think it kind of got to that point at
What's the
some
point of it being for one person at a time, though? Because you have so many people.
I think maybe it was to stop a stampede. Like so that everyone didn't rush and just start tearing stuff from out of the tree. It was just like,
Right.
okay, from youngest to oldest, open a present. I mean, I think we would do it that way if we were to open presents with Junior, right? It'd be like we wouldn't all like ready, set, go, open presents. It'd be like,
yeah,
oh,
I
Junior
guess.
open a present, Mommy open a present, Daddy open a present. But when you have like 20 people, it's not. It's like,
Yeah, I have a memory of just like someone being at the Christmas tree and just being like, there, this is for this person, that's for that person. And you're just like,
yeah. I think that yeah. Oh, Christmas.
oh, Christmas.
Oh,
Oh,
Christmas.
Christmas.
So how do you feel about Christmas now? Like when Christmas comes and you hear the music, oh holy night. How do you feel? How do you see your heart feel warm and tingly inside, or you're kind of like, eh? Or
It's a little bit of both. I do feel like the warm and tingly part, like maybe this is the year I'll feel like true Christmas feeling of like actually being able to relax. Because for me, around Christmas or wintertime, just I always feel like it's busy time. This is when you're the busiest.
This is when you push.
Um, so yeah, and then it's usually after Christmas has passed and we're right almost towards New Year's that I'm like, oh, well, Christmas is past now, so we might as well do something.
Yeah, isn't that weird for me too? Like after the 25th, I
Uh-huh.
feel like, oh, it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
Just
so well, yeah, now that it's done, should we throw a little something together?
yeah.
Uh,
Oh, God bless us all,
God
everyone.
bless us all. Yeah. Um,
I really liked you know, A Christmas Carol. But that wasn't even a Christmas thing. We just listened to A Christmas Carol as much as we could. And just Charles Dickens, you know, he writes so splendidly.
so splendidly.
And just like the dialogue between the characters, you know. And we had those tapes of A Christmas Carol, and we just listened to that over and over and over again. It's a little bit much. It's a lot of unnecessary stress, says Karen, about Christmas. I don't know, I still have a little bit of like that fuzzy feeling just because
Well, I do now.
it was for me growing up, it wasn't it was a busy time of year and it was quite stressful and different things, but it also was a special time of the year. It was when certain rules didn't really apply. You know, it'd be like no school because you're pretty much always doing shows, and then on the
that's
days
true.
that there weren't shows, you'd kind of be able to sleep in or like not do the regular things because you know, you did shows.
Right.
It was just kind of this special time, and then it would sometimes go all the way till the 26th, 27th, 28th before it'd be like, oh, we're wrapping up for the year. All the shows are done. Time to, you know, have our own Christmas whatever party. So it felt like a whole month of pushing and then this little, you know, like celebration afterwards.
Yeah.
So I still kind of have like a place in my heart for Christmas. But I'm not so much the presents. I'm not so into the presents.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
Kind of more about like the Christmas songs. kind
The
of.
Christmas songs and the
kind of-
gathering. No.
I don't even know. I don't know now. What is like
Well,
for me?
right now, like Christmas is, you know, we have a tradition ever since Junior was born because his birthday is on December 31st. So it's right around Christmas. And yeah.
For me, it's that right. That the New Year's celebration more than Christmas. These days, that is our tradition.
Yeah, that's
It's
our
like
tradition.
Our Christmas starts kind of New Year's ish time. Because we celebrate Junior's birthday, we open all the presents then, right? We don't open them on Christmas. We open them on Junior's birthday.
Yeah, we open all the presents on Junior's birthday, and then the next day on
The
New Year's
first.
Day, we'll go to
The temple.
the temple, and we'll, you know,
Burn our old stuff.
burn our old kumade, which is a Japanese
Ceremonial robes.
rake. Wow. Ceremonial robes,
no
shaman
no
rituals.
ceremonial robes. But we will burn our old.
So every year when you go to the temple, like you can buy these, I don't know what they would be called, like charms or something, but like one of them is called a kumade, and it's a rake, and it's supposed to mean that you rake in all the good luck for next year. And so each year you burn that, and then you get your new one. And then there's also arrows too, which I'm not really sure what that's for, but I just like it because it's an arrow. Probably, you know, shoot straight for your targets. Hit them, hopefully.
So we burn those and then we buy new ones.
Yes,
it's a real
that's been
racket.
our tradition. And then yeah, it's great though. You
Yeah,
know,
I like
we
it.
haven't found a temple for this area yet.
I really like that energy on New Year's Day when everyone lines up together and you're there with your whole neighborhood and you're all lined up at the
Yeah,
temple
I
and
love
just
it.
like it's very slow. You can't move quickly because everyone else is gonna pray their prayers too. So you're just like in line.
Everybody's quiet and calm and peaceful
Yeah.
and happy, and you know, people line up from before midnight to
Really,
ring the
yeah.
and so I kind
Yeah.
of like that. It's very, rather than ringing the new year in, being drunk and throwing up and waiting in other people's cigarette smoke and alcohol breath. which was fun too. I had a lot of those as well, and I really enjoyed it. But I also really like the tradition of just being out in the cold, crisp air, and you can smell the fires, the little bonfires that they have lit, and then they pass out warm cups of amazake, which is like this sweet
Yeah.
sake that's celebratory. And you just stand there in the cold and you have your little sake, and it's just great. It feels
It is
very
good, isn't it?
cleansing.
We rang the bell once in where was it? Was it Azabu?
Yeah, in Azabu, when we lived in Azabu Juban.
That was when we
Hmm?
What did we do? We went and we watched
That's
we
Les
watched
Miserables.
Yeah, we watched it and then we walked out. I was just like, fuck this shit.
Yeah,
Like we're not
I don't
watching
know
this on
why. But we had nothing to do, and we were just like sleepy and tired. And
Yeah.
we just had a really slow day, and then
Yeah.
we were like, "Oh, we might as well do something." And we're not going to any parties. Like, should we go watch Les Miserables? Everybody thinks it's real great, so we went to the theater, and I think the movie was supposed to end like 15 minutes or something before New Year's, and so we're like, "Oh, it's perfect." So we went.
Yeah, we went and tried to watch
We
it. And it was
tried.
just like there was Anne Hathaway's I Dreamed a Dream, and it was like, oh my
That
god.
was amazing. That was mind
Oh my,
blowing.
we're like, whoa, she just blew us away. And then the rest of the movie was Russell Crowe just kind of be like, and then Hugh Jackman be like,
I don't know.
and it was too much. I couldn't
really
handle it.
hard. Like it felt so difficult to get into it, and it was really painful to sit there. And then we just kind of like,
Doesn't she die?
yeah, she dies.
She
And so
dies,
once
right?
she
Spoiler
dies, it was
alert.
like we're like, okay, there's no reason to continue watching this because the only good thing about this
Yeah.
movie is now gone. We have
Did
nothing
not
to look
care
forward
for
to.
those men singing like
It
that.
was not
It was
good.
I know that like Hugh Jackman's this big song and dance man, but
No, is he? Sorry, Hugh Jackman. I thought I was
not
thinking
Russell.
Russell Crowe. I was gonna be like Russell Crowe. What?
But it just didn't work for me, and so we just walked out. And then on our way, as we were walking back home, we passed the temple, and it was a big line, so we lined up there.
Yeah.
And I remember we're all lined up outside of the big Azabu temple, and then we were just kind of standing there, and I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be 12 o'clock, and you can feel the energy changing. All these people, these really traditional Japanese people, all looking at the front, like, oh.
Yeah.
It's a little,
Yeah. Little like Russell went through the whole crowd.
and I was
the
just
whole
like,
line.
Happy New Year's! And everyone's like, oh!
Yeah, that was a good simple New Year's. That was really nice. But Les Miserables was not. Anne Hathaway was amazing.
But it's great. I'm glad we did that. 'Cause
I'm
we have
really
that
glad
story.
we did that. It's true.
Any more traditions that we have?
That we ourselves have.
Yeah.
Can I have some blanket?
Yeah. Have some blanket. You know, we gotta. How much blanket do you want?
Just enough for my body.
I don't know if we have any more traditions. We should keep making more.
I think we'll keep making more as we go on, and we find which ones really stick or which ones we, I guess, create have the most meaning for us. You know, because I don't think it's about
Yeah.
any particular cultural tradition or holiday. At least it's never been like that for me. It's the ones where we make something
Yeah,
of
I'm
it.
not so into any specific holiday. Like Halloween. I know people get really into Halloween, but it's just, I don't know. Maybe because I just didn't grow up with it. It's kind of like
it could be that.
Halloween, Christmas, yes, I guess. New Year's, yes. And then the rest are just kind of like, I don't know.
I think we'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. We needn't adhere to any commercial holidays.
How about like cereal? Oh, that's something I think my dad and my mom did when before I was born and when the sisters were still young. The oldest of the oldest three sisters were still young. They would put out cereal on the table on like a Sunday morning or whatever, so that like one day a week the kids would get up and make their own food and eat breakfast
I see.
and then get them up so they had get an extra sleep. I was like, that's pretty clever.
That is pretty clever.
And cereal is pretty awesome as a kid. I was kind of like, if you got cereal, it was a big
was a good
deal.
day?
It was a big deal, yeah. Whoa, cereal.
Were you living the goodness of the
Yeah, you
cereal?
just think about all the cereal. When we went to the States, I remember going to the States for the first time when I was 7 or 8, and it just blew me away the things that people ate. I did not make any sense to me. I was like, what is this land of milk and honey? Like, you know, honey nut Cheerios and Jello for dinner, like Jello salad. I don't know, is that a thing? Jello
Jello
salad, like that's
salad? Wow.
yeah,
Are you talking about like an aspic, like a meat jello?
no, like I think it was just jelly with fruit in it.
Oh,
Jello
oh,
with
oh,
fruit in it.
oh, like a fruit salad, just
Yeah,
jello instead
yeah,
of fruit.
yeah.
Mm.
You know, and just like these sugary drinks, and I was just like, oh my god,
Heavenly.
yeah, it was incredible. And I think there's something there where I'm kind of worried because I love sugar and I have a hard time with sugar. Like
Sugar is his crack.
sugar. Yeah, I'm addicted. That's really bad. But then I see Junior. I'm like, okay, we're telling Junior not to eat sugar and whatever, which I don't feel good about because I can't even handle it. So how's he supposed to be able to handle it? But then I'm like, sugar was kept from me as a child, and now I can't control myself with it. Sometimes I can
You
control. I
can. You
can
can.
if I choose to.
You
But many
can.
times I do not choose to.
Yes, many times people do not choose to until it is too late and they are sick, and then they have to do
But
reparative
I'm worried about
things.
Junior that he'll be the same way because we're like no don't no 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 and it's just like he's like
No, we're not
yes
saying no, no, no. We just have structure around it. Like he has his sweet treat day, which is Sunday.
yeah it's true
It's
yeah
not like he can never have
I know
sugar.
but you see the look in his eyes. He's hungry for that sugar. He wants the sugar. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
but
dude, I feel you on that. I
yeah,
understand what you're going through. You need that sugar, right? And he's like, yes.
well, that's what heroin addicts say.
I know. I know. I see him on it. I'm like, oh man, I remember being a kid. It's so ultimate.
Yeah, it is so ultimate, especially if you see what it does to their brain. It like lights it up like crack.
I know.
That's why it's so addictive and so debilitating. But and everything in balance.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like, what is the balance? Because if they have too many restrictions on it, then when they get out into the real world, it's just gonna be like free for all, and then it's gonna be like, you know,
Yeah, I mean, I think
no
this
learned control.
at some point, sure. I think it just depends on him understanding, or if he chooses to. I mean, well, I guess at the end of the day, once he's out in the world, that's his body. And he's the one feeding it. Like I can't, I'm not gonna control it. I just can hope. I will just hope that I've imparted enough salad into his body to keep him through the sugar
It doesn't work
years.
like that though,
Yeah, I know it doesn't.
right?
But
That's
at the
why
end
I
of the
think
day, I can't control him. He'll do what he wants to do.
I know. That's why I think that I should do the thing like in that movie, Flipper.
You're gonna make Junior smoke.
Yeah, in the movie, like I think it's the new version of Flipper where remember that one where he's like, you'll
Yeah, with
smoke when
Elijah
if you
Wood.
yeah, is that Elijah
Yeah,
Wood?
it's Elijah Wood.
Gosh, I don't remember any of the faces. They're all blurry to me. But he's like, oh, whenever I smoke, you smoke. If you want to smoke, then you're gonna have to keep up with me. And then he's like, oh, I give up. I'm sick. Oh, I don't like it anymore.
So you're gonna try to sugar Junior out.
Yeah, well, I keep offering Junior, like, Junior, if you want, we can have a sugar day. Like, one day where all of your dreams come true and you eat as much sugar as you want for just one day. One day, as much sweets as you want for one day. And then you tell me how it makes you feel when you've had.
Well, he kind of already knows because he sort of had an experience with it once, a couple of years ago when he was like 2 years old or so. I got a gift from a client, and at the time, these things called bucket pudding were like all the rage apparently. So he sent me
Disgusting,
this
by the way.
huge bucket of pudding, and I was like, okay, that's wild. So of course, I want to see what it looks like out of the bucket. So I take it out of the bucket, and it's like,
Oh, yeah.
and I put it in like a tray type of thing, and Junior was like, I was like, yeah, sure, go for it, have at it. And he just sort of like attacked it, and he ate tons. And then very quickly after, he threw it up all over the floor. And so he kind
Ah.
of knows about the sweet and the gross.
Yeah.
There is that's why I think that's why he keeps turning you down whenever you offer it to
I
him
know,
like
he's
that.
scared.
He
He's
knows
scared.
that it's gonna make
He's
him
scared.
sick if he eats too much sugar.
I know, because whenever I offer, he's like, no, Dad. No. Laura says, maybe you have one structured day you assigned, and one day he gets to pick. Oh, I see. Like one structured day where we assign the food, and one day where he gets to pick. Ooh, every other day for if he got to pick every other day. Well, I guess if he could just pick out of the things that are in the house, no problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think we're pretty flexible with with um with the sweets.
Yeah, no, we
We're
are.
not really strict,
No, we're not
but
super
we do
strict.
have like just basic.
No, we're not super strict, but I think we are stricter with him than we are with ourselves. Right?
Yeah,
Like
maybe.
we are
Yeah,
quicker to
yeah.
check him on it than we are ourselves.
Yeah, I guess
And I
that's
know,
fair.
at least I know that for myself. I am, and I'm like, that's not right. So either I change or I change.
Fair enough.
Because
Fair enough.
yeah, it's not fair for me to be like, no, you shouldn't have this. It's you've had enough sweets for one day, and then be like, rah, rah,
Yeah, it's true.
uh,
That's fair.
all right.
We could.
I guess it's time for me to change.
It's time to change.
It's time, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how. I just love sweets so much, and I think my body is actually designed to be fueled on it. Like, it turns into, I'm the next gen of humans.
Wow.
Where my body turns sugar into this clean fuel. Like, it burns clean.
I've never seen cognitive dissonance so up close.
It's not true. It's really bad for my mental health.
But I mean, I guess different bodies process sugar different ways too. So maybe it is a. I mean, of course, sugar is a form of fuel, but there are other forms.
I know it's definitely bad for my gut health and my mental health.
Yeah.
But on a short term, if say like when I was working full time, it just like shoom, take me back to
Oh yeah, of course.
take me back when I'm like, oh, I'm about to die. Then if I eat some sugar, I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
but
back.
you, man,
It was really bad
it was
though.
so bad. You would drink Red Bulls,
Yeah.
Monsters constantly,
Yes.
and then also
Yes.
coffee as well.
Yes.
And then every day, you'd come home and in your bag would be like gummy bears.
Yes. True. All true. All true.
always like just always gummies.
It was
like
terrible.
sour gummies.
I would have
and
a
sweet
coffee in the
gummies and like
No, I wouldn't drink a coffee in the morning before I left work, but I would get a coffee on the way, and then I'd have a Red Bull for like lunch. Yeah, and then if the day was long, I'd probably have another. That's really bad.
Yeah, but you had a very high intensity job at the time, so I can understand why you need the legal equivalent of cocaine.
Yeah, I know. So even Ethan here on live stream is saying that like sugar is starch too, right? And it's
Starch
like,
is, yeah, sugar.
starch is sugar, and it's just like, yeah, everything, bread in the morning, all of it.
That's right.
It's okay, guys. It's gonna be
okay.
okay.
We're
Look,
gonna
I've
be
eaten
okay.
so much sugar, and I'm okay. I'm okay. No, really, I'm okay. Oh.
Yeah, we all have our vices. Mine used to be the wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The alcohols.
Yeah, it used to be. Those were some fun times, but I don't think you had so much fun with that.
No, I didn't have so much fun with it. It was fun. There were exciting times. There's exciting times. I remember walking home from the station once. That was exciting time.
Yeah,
And
that
you
was
wanted
really
to you
fun.
wanted to go into the rice paddy,
It
and I
was
was like,
great.
no, let's
Yeah,
not go into the rice
I
paddy. You're like,
was.
yes, let's go into the rice
That's
paddy.
right.
Why are you being so scared?
Yeah, why were you being so
I
scared?
was
What
like,
would have happened? Like,
oh.
the worst that could have happened is we gotten very muddy,
Yeah, yes, we would have
right?
gotten very
See?
muddy.
We just deprived ourselves of an adventure.
Yeah, I guess I was already adventure. I
I know, but
ran
can
so
you can
fast.
you imagine how much more of a great story it would be to talk about now if we had gone into the rice
If
paddies?
you had, you could have, you could have.
If only you'd let me.
It's so funny. You texted me,
Mm-hmm.
and just from your text, I knew you were, like, I knew it was a different level of drunkenness. I was like, I
Yeah.
ran to the station so fast. I was like, I gotta get there and help you get home.
Yeah, thanks. That's so
And that's
sweet
like
of you.
what?
It's
Like walking,
almost
it's like 35 minutes or something.
it's like 2 point something kilometers,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. It's very kind of you. Very sweet.
What does one do in the rice paddies? Asks Laura.
One frolics in the rice paddies if the
One
mud is forgiving enough.
one does not enter rice paddies, to be honest. I've never I've never been with someone who decided to take a walk through the rice paddies. Never.
Well,
Not even in the most nature loving of moments do you think to yourself, the next best step to take in this moment is to step into the rice paddy. No, you don't. Because it's just like, it's mud. It's just mud. It's basically a swamp.
yeah, but good times, huh?
Yeah, it's fine as long as you're on the edge and you're just looking in and watching the little tadpoles and little things jump around and swim around. But yeah, you don't go into rice paddies. It's not done.
It's not advisable unless you're looking for unless you're looking to become a legend in your family. Okay.
Oh, do you have legends in your family?
Well, I
Rice
don't
paddy
know. I'm
legends?
just assuming the weirder thing you do becomes legend in family,
It's true. Yeah.
right?
Fair enough.
I was so close. I was so close to becoming a legend. Oh, sorry guys. I'm really sleepy.
Yeah, it's been a long week for
It's
the
been a
both
really
of us.
long week.
How was your week, by the way?
It was-
Scale of 1 to 10.
That's I would say it was like a 9.5, but then
Wow.
there were times when it was like 7, so an average of 8. Maybe
Okay,
no, I would
all
say it was
right.
a 9. It was really good. It was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always good. It's always very good to interpret for these events. And then afterwards, it takes like a day or 2 or 3 to like get back on in my schedule because they're really full on. They can go anywhere from 14 to 16 hours a day of just straight interpreting
Mm.
nonstop, very fast. And so, like at the beginning, I was doing really good because I know I have to eat for optimum brain function, and so I'm eating a lot of tons of leafy greens, all my green drink things, and lots of nuts and blueberries. Like the company that I was working for, they had these 3 girls who were at our beck and call, and like anything that we needed or wanted, they would like dash out and get it for us. It was amazing. So I was like, I really like some blueberries. And so like one of them ran out and got like looked all over for blueberries, but they couldn't find any, so they got frozen blueberries. And I was like, I also said that I wanted broccoli, and she's like, so she bought me like a bag of frozen broccoli. And I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? I can't like warm it up or anything. So there's just like this afterwards the bag of broccoli just kind of just like
Defrosted?
defrosted and got all mushy and was sitting there on the table. I was like, that's sad.
Yeah. What are you gonna do with broccoli that's frozen?
Exactly. I was like, how am I? But I was like really just like,
That's
thank you
super
so
sweet, though.
much. I appreciate the effort. Yeah. So I did it.
So that's your week.
That was-
A solid 8.
A solid 8.5, I would say.
Alright,
It was
alright.
good. It was just very tiring, just because I had to jump into the schedule of all of a sudden starting work at like right around nowish or like 1 every night,
Yeah,
and
that's pretty
then
crazy.
staying up all day and just completely turning my schedule upside down. But it's great, and that's why you need a great team.
Yeah.
Teamwork is incredibly important.
It's a very different week than the week I had. And my week was good. I think it's a solid like 7.5, maybe even an 8, just because I made it through now. Now that I'm on the other end, maybe I could call it an 8. But it was a very like a small team.
It's a very small team of 2.
Small
Yeah,
team of
fair,
2.
fair.
Junior and myself here at the house. Just kind of this time I focused on survival more, and it worked out just fine. I was like, I'm
Great.
gonna get my sleep, and even if that means Junior goes to school, and then I catch up on like 1 or 2 hours, then I'll do that because that's more important
Gotta do
than
what you gotta
burning the
do.
candle on both ends and getting
And then setting a fire.
yeah, and then being mean and bad, being bad man, sad man.
Bad man, sad man.
No one knows what it's like to be a bad man. I don't know, that song still goes through my head.
I know.
But yeah, so I just focused on kind of survival, like, okay, clean the house, be with Junior when Junior's home. Those are the things, and eat foods. Those are the important.
It's good to eat foods.
And then I got that job. I was writing for NHK too, so I was just kind of focused on that too. And so that was kind of stuff to work on, but then focusing mainly on what we need to focus on, which is just like making Junior and my time together good, and keeping us fed and keeping the house somewhat clean.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And it worked out okay.
I guess I learned this week. So usually whenever I do these events, I fly overseas, and so I never even considered taking on another job in between. But because this one was in Japan, I was like, I got another job offer during the event time, and I was like, oh yeah, sure, why not? It's probably right around after this event would end, and so I'll get a little bit of rest, and then I'll start again the next day. But it turned out to be just the most silly decision ever, because the days were long, and then it just turned out that I was working like 20 hours a day, and I was like, what am I doing? This is so dumb.
Well, when you told me that you were taking that other job, I was like, really?
I know. I think I
was like,
didn't quite
are you gonna
understand
be
the
okay?
time difference, and I was okay. It was great.
I'm like,
but
these things are pretty intense, and
they
you're
are
gonna
super
do
intense.
another thing too. You're like, yeah, it's fine though, because there's gonna be other people
I
translating.
suffer from hubris. Okay.
And I was like, okay, okay, you got this, baby. There's nothing you can't do.
I did got it, but now I'm ready to sleep, and at some point decorate a gingerbread house with Junior.
Oh, is that on the list of things to do?
Yeah, that'll be the first Christmas thing, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh, I want to get another puzzle this year.
Oh yeah.
I want to get another like whatever thousand piece puzzle or something.
Yeah, let's
so we can do it over there.
Totally.
Maybe it can be a Kimetsu no Yaiba puzzle.
Kimetsu no Yaiba.
Guys, you know about
Do you
Kimetsu
know about
no Yaiba?
Kimetsu no Yaiba, Demon Slayer?
I don't know about it.
It is like the biggest thing all over.
But what I do know is that she's got a thing in her mouth, and all the kids love it.
All the adults love it too.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's actually been translated. The manga has been translated into English, so you can read it if you want. So I didn't want to watch it for the longest time because it was so popular, and I also heard that it was really gory and super super violent, which it is. But I started watching it a couple of days ago on Netflix, and it is probably one of the best animes that I have seen in a long time.
Really?
Not because of the anime itself, of course it's what you'd expect from anime, but the story line and just the characters.
How many seasons do they have?
Deep. Well, I don't know how many. Oh, on Netflix, I think they have 2 seasons.
All
so
right,
far.
I'll wait till it has like 5 seasons.
Yeah, but they don't have English subtitles, and it's like the oldie Japanese style. It's like there's some parts that even I struggle understanding, so I have to watch it with Japanese subtitles so I can read the kanjis to try and make out what they're. Yeah, but. it's amazing.
Why do all the kids love it? Are they watching at home?
No, they're reading the manga, and that's because I don't think kids are actually allowed to watch it because
So
it's
maybe
so
Junior
gory.
could see the manga.
Yes, and
Yeah?
I think that would be actually a really good way for him to learn to read.
Okay.
But
Alright.
I'm gonna take a look at the manga and actually see how gory it is. So, yeah, like so even Sincere, she said that she couldn't watch the anime because it was too gory. So, but she read the manga and that was okay. So
Okay.
I'll look into it. We'll see. But it's amazing. Like just the psychology behind the characters and their development and the different things. Pretty much just as what the story is there's this boy named Tanjiro, and his father passed away, and so he was like taking care of his mom and his siblings and stuff like that. But one day when he was away out of town, a demon came and killed his whole family.
No.
Yeah, that's like the immediate, like the first 5 minutes in. His whole family is just like brutally murdered. And so he comes back, and then one of his sisters, her name is Nezuko, and she's the one who has the thing in her mouth.
Yeah.
She she wasn't dead. She was still a little bit alive, but some of the demon's blood got into her
She's
blood.
kind of.
So she turned into a demon herself.
Yes.
And the thing is, so the demons, when they turn, they become, hungry for human blood, and they want to murder and stuff like that. But something about her is different, and she still retains some of her humanity. And so
Because she has a
Tanjiro,
thing in her mouth, so she
Yeah.
can't eat her own blood.
not her own, but other humans.
Oh, because she has a thing in her mouth?
Yeah, so that's got an enchantment on it, I think. So she can't, and she chooses, she doesn't want to eat them. So she still has like humanity in her, and she recognizes Tanjiro as her brother. And so the whole movie
Is she kind of like Billy from Stranger Things? Like he's
well,
possessed, but he's still him,
except
and
for
he's
that,
like,
she
fight the
doesn't
demons.
do
Remember your
harm. No,
Billy.
it's not that bad.
No?
No, she's definitely more balanced than that.
Okay.
So the whole story is about Tanjiro going around looking for the original demon, the original Oni who made all the Onis, because he wants to find a way to turn his sister back into a human.
Aww.
And it's really interesting because as he goes around finding these different demons, all of these demons or these Onis, they were humans once too, and so they all have a story as well as to how they got to the way they are, and they're very human too and extremely relatable, like the challenges they go through. And Tanjiro, when he kills them, he's also very empathetic, like he knows that, oh, you were a human and you had all of these challenges and different issues that brought you here. And so there's like this level of compassion that he has for them as well. And so it's very interesting to watch these two emotions of like horror for what they've done, but also just a kindness and an empathy because he recognizes the humanity in them as well. And like a lot of the different wazas he does, like height. Anyways, they talk a lot about like breath work, and he's like, when you take these, he learns through his training, like when you take these deep breaths, it sends oxygen throughout the cells in all of your muscles, and it makes you stronger, and different things like that, that are actually based on scientific studies. So it's just really interesting, and I was really pleasantly surprised at how well the story develops. And I told Junior, and he was super happy that I watched it.
Now,
'Cause now I can talk to
your
him.
stock has been
I
raised.
know, it was like,
You are
whoa,
now
I'm
the
cool,
keeper
Mom.
of the secrets of Kimetsu no Yaiba.
I am the keeper of the secrets. It's like,
Yeah.
forget interpreting for Mike Tyson. I know about Kimetsu no Yaiba. I
yeah.
know the stories and the characters. It's just,
Yeah. He's always telling me about it.
Yeah.
He's always like, I learned this about it.
So like tonight when I was putting him down for bed and I told him, I was like, do you want me to tell you a little about the story? He's like, yeah, tell me about the story. Just not the scary parts. And I was like, oh.
So sweet. He was talking to me today about Worlds Away. He's like, Dad, do you remember in Worlds Away? Do you remember in Worlds Away? Messiah! I'm like, yes, Junior, I remember. He's like, you remember the part with the boat? I was like, yeah, it was pretty cool. So sweet.
That's amazing.
He happy cried at Worlds Away.
It was so beautiful.
Yeah, I always cry when I watch Worlds Away
I
too.
love Worlds
it's
Away.
So sweet.
It's a Cirque du Soleil the show that James Cameron,
I think it was James
yeah,
Cameron. He directed
he
it. Yeah.
directed, filmed it. It's so beautifully done. It's
I like
just
that it's not just the
visually
it's I like that it's not just the sort of
satisfying.
like the circusy like tricks and stuff, but it's actually the like there's a story, a through story that, I think that's probably James Cameron's touch to like put some sort of narrative in there, so there's some arc that you can follow and be invested in as you travel through
Yeah.
all the amazing
I think so. Like
tricks
the
and
different
things.
worlds that he goes to are different Cirque du Soleil shows, and so he weaves the story between the
Yeah,
different worlds,
yeah,
right? Yeah, yeah. It's really beautifully done, and when I watched it, I was very moved.
yeah. I
It's
cried when I
it's
watched
it's
it.
it's just all I can say is just it's food for the eyes.
Worlds away. Well, I think that's it for tonight.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know how much about traditions and Christmas and
No, but
traditions,
see,
but
that's
that's
just the jumping
that's just
point.
where that's how we roll,
That's
guys.
how I do. That's what
That's
I
how
do.
we roll.
I don't know. It's just.
And thanks so much for tuning in. Um, and for everybody who is waiting for this to drop on Friday, I really apologize.
It is Friday.
No, it's now Saturday.
Yeah. Well, better late than never.
Better late than never.
It's the fastest we could do it because you've only come home today.
I have only come home today, and we're doing what we can with what we got.
So for those of you who are celebrating Hanukkah as well, happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Hanukkah's just started. You got to light your
Your candles.
candles. And what else do they do on Hanukkah? I'm so not educated in the ways of Hanukkah. Do they sing songs?
I don't know. Tell us. Who knows? Please.
Can somebody tell us, what do you do at Hanukkah?
Sing songs.
Do you tell stories? Oh, this is what I know about Hanukkah. Wait, you tell the story of the
Christmas armadillo?
No, not the Christmas armadillo, of the Passover. Isn't it a Passover thing?
Sorry. Whenever I think of Hanukkah, I just think of Ross from Friends in the armadillo suit.
I don't know. Maybe somebody should educate me. What is Hanukkah? My idea of it is it's remembering Passover, and the maybe even the 40 years of the wilderness. I don't know. Whatever.
40 years
They wandered.
they wandered.
It's a story. I think it's a storytelling thing. But anyways,
That's beautiful.
I could be totally wrong.
Could be.
Anyways, that's all for now, guys.
That's all for now.
We're
Thanks
signing
for
off,
tuning in.
going to bed. It's
Going
all
to
nearly
bed.
2:00.
It is.
See you
And
later.
I gotta get back to my normal schedule. See
All right.
ya.
Bye.
Bye.